Come.
Water is important. It's very important. There's nothing more important. I have an article for you, and I want you to see a little bit more about why this is important. Now, this is in Toronto, Ontario, and let's get into it. The point is that if you have a leaky toilet, it's costing you thousands of dollars every year. Not like here, it says here, it could be like $2,400 a month. It could be if you have a really high water bill. And when I bought my first house, years into it, there was a little bit of shaking that went on, and I noticed my water bill was like $800 and freaking, back in the 90s, $800 was a lot of money. I'm like, what the hell's going on? They say, you have a leak somewhere, you better figure it out. So I had the plumbers come out and they said, well, it's going to cost you $10,000. I'm like, no, I'm going to figure this out on my own. Now that you know why I don't like HOAs, I can tell you why I don't like HOAs, but let's get into the crux of this. The HOA says, nope, everything from the meter to your house is your responsibility. Even though it was on common ground, it was on the area that was the way the HOA was set up. So I decided, I looked inside the house and I didn't see any leaks. I looked underneath the house. I didn't see any leaks. I didn't see leaks anywhere else up in the attic or anything. So I had to figure out where it's coming from. So my thought was, let's go from the house back to the main, back to the meter and see where it was. Well, I started digging down. I went out to A1 rental or whatever, got a jackhammer and beat up a big hunk of cement. And I went down and the water main went from the street up a driveway and into my house. So I dug down there right by the foundation and I dug down 3-4 feet, and that's where the culprit was. What it was the builder forgot to put the little glue, the PVC glue, into an elbow, and it was all PVC. It was a 50-cent fix. Cost me $300 because I had to rent the jackhammer, and it cost me $300, better than $13,000. Point of the being is, when you're looking at leaks, keep an eye on what your standard is, and if you see a leak, figure it out, because it's going to cost you a lot of money in the long run. And I know that this is for Toronto, but same thing. As a matter of fact, the same thing with the sewage, the drain. Once it goes out of your house, it's still your responsibility until it ties into the main, the sewage main, which is in the middle of the street and on multiple streets. And this is a huge problem. It's a huge problem because it costs $7,000 to $10,000 and the city is not going to take care of it. And you can call your water district, Great Oaks Water, and get on the insurance program. And it costs $10, $15, $20 a month, but it's far better than having to pay $7,000 to $10,000. And it's happened twice on my street. And if it's happening twice on my street, it's happening all over the place. Point is make sure your HOA, make sure your home is leak-free. Talk to your water district and find out water saving measures, because it does count. It does help you out. And it's not about the environment. Yes, I'm environmental, and yes, I want to protect the environment, but it's also about your pennies and dollars and cents. And I just want to protect you so that you know what's going on. You can save thousands of gallons every year from a small leak, and it's going to save you tens to hundreds of dollars every month to a year to save on that. So just be aware of what's going on. And if you have a pool, make sure you have your pool checked for leaks. If you're putting in 200-300 gallons every week for your pool, you have a leak somewhere. It's not evaporation. All right, I want to go back to this one here, because this one's been on market for a wee bit. This one has had 124,000 impressions, retargeted to almost 20,000 buyers that have seen this house on different ad platforms. It's important for us to make sure that we're getting you the exposure so your house gets sold. If your house isn't selling after a month, it's not what we're doing as an agent, it's price, right? It's condition, location, and price. You can say it's because of the rate being so high. That's today's rate, well, April 13th, but today is rates are starting to continue to with about a point, which is 1% of the loan. You can drop it down to 5.5, 5.7. So just keep that in mind. And you can oftentimes ask your seller to pay for that as a concession. Something to think about. This is what you get for $2 million in Santa Clara County. This is Drive in San Jose, California. Not my listing, $2 million. Brand new listing, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,600 square feet. It's a nice standard ranch style house with air conditioning, and it's right in Willow Glen area. I think it borders Willow Glen and Cambrian, but yeah, nice looking house. Let's take a look inside. Nicely maintained, staged, right? Even if your house isn't updated, staging does a lot to it. People see that and they're like, oh, I need to see this house. Versus when you look at what you get for $1 million, look at this house because it's like Art Deco. This is Pepper Tree Lane, 95127. What you get for $1 million, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 1,300 square feet, built in 1954. This is built in 1962, so this is 8 years younger. Let's take a look inside. I like this look, but list price decrease. Let's see where it started off at. 1.25 all the way down to $1 million because it's been on market for 66 days. Guys, I'm telling you, price. Oh man, this looks like it's original. Painted everything, new counters. Looks like they flipped it, but they didn't touch the floor. Yeah. Okay, it's a flat roof. It's like a rinconada. It's all right. So it looks like they have it partially staged and then they don't have it staged. Like, I don't know. Maybe they did and then the backyard. Yeah, you can tell this is flipped because they didn't do the backyard. And there's no garage. No garage is a huge issue. You need to have a garage. If you buy a house, you want to have a garage. So what I would do is I'd probably turn that into a garage and then make the entrance a little more private that way. Inventory is still inventory. We really haven't touched that. All right, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Open house link is